Today we have a heartwarming story about Marcel and his journey with juvenile idiopathic arthritis. His mum, Anna, joins him on this recording, and I've been working with her in the last 12 months on Paddison Program's support platform and hearing of Marcel's ups and downs and eventual massive progress with his condition. So welcome to the both of you on this episode.
Hello, Clint.
Hello.
Now, for those of you who are listening to this and are not watching this online, Marcel, he's 11 years old. He's got a huge grin on his face, very handsome young man. And his mum, Anna, is sitting with him together. So we're going to go through this as a group. And I have a couple of notes that I took before we started here. Marcel's symptoms began about a year prior to his diagnosis with some jaw pain. And then later it sort of began with pain in his foot. And then he got a diagnosis and things were pretty bad. So Marcel, tell us, mate, what did it feel like when you started getting foot pain?
And it felt weird because I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was just ordinary foot pain because at the time I was doing a lot of sports and I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah, and then where did it go from there? After it started in your feet, did it start to hurt in some other joints?
Yeah, in my finger joints.
And did they hurt a lot when you woke up in the morning?
They didn't hurt when I woke up. It's just when I moved them.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was making fists, it hurt.
Yep. Now, your mum and I have chatted, and she said that when it got really bad for you, at one point it was hard for you to walk from the car to the entrance to your school. I know it's not nice to think about, but can you talk about what that was like and that experience with the pain in the body?
It just hurt. Like every time I took a step, it hurt, and it wasn't really pleasant.
And you were going through some exams as well. You had to get some assistance to help you with your writing. Could you not hold a pen properly?
No, it's just that when I hold the pen, it didn't hurt, but it felt stiff. My fingers felt stiff.
So he couldn't write properly. And, when you have limited amount of time to do it, so it would not be possible. So
absolutely,
you had to write instead of me.
Yeah. So someone else had to write for you during your exam. So yeah. What did you do? Did you actually have to tell them what to write down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it wouldn't work with mathematics, so he had to do it himself. but because it's just too complicated. So he did it himself, but the reading test and the grammar and that was it, isn't it? Yeah. You needed help. Yeah.
And what about your, before we talk about what you did about it and the program you've been following and the success that you've had, what other sort of issues were you facing? You had the sore fingers, you had sore feet. Was there anything else going on?
Not really. It was just the jaw apart from that.
Jaw as well. Okay. Something separate to this your mum mentioned was headaches as well. I believe you've had some pretty rough migraines. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I did sports and I had overheated, then I would usually have a migraine and not feel well for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So with all those things that you were going through, how are you now?
Just really good because now I'm doing a lot of sports, even more than I was before. And it's just nothing really hurts now.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's talk about...
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't have the migraines anymore.
As well. It's fantastic. So tell us, what did you do? Obviously, I know my side of the program that we put together that your mum introduced you to. But how did that begin? Did you start with some buckwheat quinoa? Did your mum make that for you? Did you start with some green smoothies? Tell me what this whole process felt like.
So So the first day, it was just juices, celery juices and salads.
Yeah.
Because we've done the 1-day cleanse. This is the thing. I really wanted to do this cleanse. Let me just say something about this, because I know that a lot of parents, they would skip the 2 days cleanse. I wouldn't do it for 2 days, but I really wanted to kind of, I really wanted to know if it's going to work. Okay. So I said, we have to do this 1 day, because I need to see, the results you were talking about in your book and in your program. So this would give me like extra motivation, to to start the program and keep going. And surely enough, the following day, you went to bed on that day when you were having the juices and the salads really early,
the
because
next day, my fingers already felt better.
Yeah, but the following day,
I bend them, like put them more.
Yeah, the following day, the food was completely fine. And swelling went completely, went down from his food, and we couldn't, do anything with it for the 3 months. So the food was absolutely fine, his fingers, and he was able to run the following day. So I said, that's it. This gave me a lot of, enough confidence, to start the program and just stick to it. And I said, that's it. This is definitely working.
Wow, I can relate to that, because I actually ran for the first time after I did my first cleanse, but the first cleanse I did was by accident because I had food poisoning. And I had a bad experience where I had lots of vomiting and diarrhea for like a long time. And then after that, I also actually did a weird kind of hobbly run into the city to see my, at that time, girlfriend, and tell her how miraculous I had improved just from having that experience. And so I can totally relate to the miraculous effect that not eating has for so many people. And it's such a good sign for others who are listening to this. If they have a speedy result from the cleanse, then it's very positive signs for what's about to follow. So that would have been a bit of a shock, just to not eat just to juice and cleanse, and then to get rid of your foot pain that you've had for months and months.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
We couldn't believe it, basically.
Surprising.
Yeah, it was like a shock.
So
a bit of a shock
now, I think, as you were alluding to, Anna, the program wasn't created for adults, and I think what you've done here is created it was created for adults. And so as parents who are more and more frequently looking towards this program to apply to their children, there needs to be a lot of modification, common sense, and adjustments applied that fit with the child's age, the child's weight, the child's interest level in actually adhering to the program, and a number of other factors that take into account maybe other medical conditions like migraines and physical activity, all sorts of things. And so what I guess I'm saying here is each parent needs to look at this and decide how they're going to approach it. It's not an out-of-the-box approach for children. And what you've decided, I think, was excellent. We'll do 1 day cleanse. We'll get that sort of litmus test as to how that goes. The result was fantastic. You got the result you wanted. You got the confidence you wanted, and you went straight on. So how did you then proceed after that? And Marcel, how did you like eating these simple foods?
Not very much.
Not in the beginning.
In the beginning, it was only buckwheat and quinoa, and it was not the best.
So we had bok choy, buckwheat, quinoa. We would sit down, it would look nothing like our usual Sunday breakfast, isn't it? All of a sudden, instead of bacon, baked beans, bagels, we would have all this green stuff on the table. So it took a while, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until, before we got used to it, because we decided to do it all together. My husband, he wasn't too convinced to start with, but slowly he joined us as well, and we started doing it together. So basically, we didn't have any other type of food in the house. So it was easy, there was no temptation whatsoever for Marcel as well, because we just all started all together.
Wow,
And
that's fantastic. So you and your husband as well ate the baseline foods with Marcel. Is there any other members anyone else in the family?
Not in living with us. So there's 3 of us doing it together.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Wow. What a hats off to both of you as well. And then tell us, how did the whole process feel, Marcel, in terms of the pain relief, and how long did it take, and your experience going through this?
I mean, the experience was really amusing because, like, as the more celery juices and smoothies I drank, the better it got. So like after 5 months, I was like completely like there was no pain, and I could run and do everything.
And what were
I
your
think sooner than that, because he also got the joint injections, because it got so bad that on the 25th of May, so he was diagnosed on the 12th, and then 25th of May, he got the joint injections. And of course, this helped a lot. But we found out very soon that these joint injections, they only last for like a month or maybe a month and a half if you're lucky. So, and for Marcel, he never felt the pain after that, isn't it? So it never, the pain never came back, because we started the diet on the 8th of May, so slightly before even his injections.
I remember this point of time when you and I were communicating privately in our support group, and you said to me, look, I'm uncertain as to whether or not he feels so good because of the injections or because of all the things we've done. And I said, well, the joint injections are significant. These shots are a very powerful intervention, and we won't know until about 2 months after he's had them as to whether or not inflammation is going to return. Well, we got the 2 months, and you said, can I celebrate yet? And I said, oh, look, if we get to 3 months, you can be high-fiving everyone you know. And then we got to 3 months, and then 4 months and 5 months, and it never come back.
Never came back. So, and to be honest with you, we were going to the hospital on a monthly basis. So his blood was checked on a monthly basis. And months after his injections, we went back to the hospital, and in a waiting room, we met one of the moms. She had 10-month-old baby. I think it was 10-month-old girl. And she got injections at the same time as Marcel in her ankles because they were swollen. And she was already back after a month because the symptoms came back, and she was asking me, how is Marcel and everything. So I said, well, he is actually great. And it was like, the comparison, but
yeah, it's stark, isn't it? The comparison brings us quickly back to reality with, the success and the joy that we can have in sharing this information. And we just know that so many people who are watching this because they have a child who's affected, not in a place of happiness or joy whatsoever. And really, that's why we're doing this, is why we're sharing this information, and why we're providing this case study of Marcel and how well he's done, so that other people can say, hey, maybe there's some things that I can look at in what I'm eating, especially when you're that young. It's difficult. When you're that young, it's obviously difficult. And if that child was still being breastfed, then the mum would have to look at what her diet looks like and so on. But anyway, this is why we're doing this, because people are suffering with children in these situations.
And we also had I had a chance to speak to the other parents when we were at the hospital, because, you have like 6 beds in one room, and then there were different, there were kids like waiting for the injections there. So one of the dads, he said that his 4-year-old son, he had injections like 2 months before, and the swelling never went down. It was just, the pain wasn't there. And 2 months after, they were already back to the hospital for another one. So it's like, and he was on a methotrexate. He was 4 years old. He was on a 12.5 methotrexate. So it wasn't helping.
So. Yeah. That's right. So I guess for some people, though, the treatment's going to help a lot. And then for other people, other children, like that example, perhaps it doesn't help as much as what we would like. So we got to do everything in our power that we possibly can to try and keep pain levels low, because there's no guarantee that other interventions are going to work. So Marcel,
like you mentioned, because there was the funny thing was as well, because it was lunchtime when he woke up from his anesthetics, and the nurse, she was going around and offering the food to everyone, and we were already on the Paddison program, so I had a cantaloupe, I had buckwheat and stuff like this for him in the plastic boxes, and he only wanted to eat cantaloupe, so he had the full box of cantaloupe, and the nurse was she felt sorry for him that he didn't have anything else. Oh, just cantaloupe, are you sure you don't want to eat anything else? Maybe pasta, maybe this, maybe that. And the food at the hospital is just
terrible. Not
how it should be. Let's put it this way. And the other kids, they had a packet of crisps. They had McDonald's. They had, and she was quite happy. Oh, okay, he had enough, so you can go home probably in an hour. But she was so concerned about Marcel, and it's like, it just shows you, like everything is upside down nowadays.
So true. They're all worried about Marcel because he has to eat simple foods, but he's the one that doesn't need to ever come back.
Yeah, it was so funny.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy. It was like, he's fine. He's really fine.
So normally, there's an occasional skeptic that watches our results here and raises questions and says things like, yeah, but. All right. So let's cover some yeah, buts. Now let's talk about inflammation levels. Someone might say, but is there still high levels of inflammation? Now he was a SED rate or ESR of 50 and C-reactive protein of 19.5 milligram per litre. Have they come back down to normal?
To be honest with you, after 5 weeks, we already noticed quite a big drop in these markers. So his ESR dropped to 10 after only 5 weeks.
After 5 weeks, yep.
Yes, his C-reactive protein went to 3.
Normal, yep.
And then subsequently, like month after month, they were going down. Not ESR, but CRP was going down. So you could see like another 2 months, and CRP was 2. Then another month, CRP was 1. Then below 1, and it stayed below 1 until now. So.
That's absolutely fantastic. I think that the C-reactive protein is more of an indicator of disease activity. The SED rate is a general inflammation marker that is used almost like a sanity check to make sure that
dropped as well to 5.
Oh, it dropped to 5 as well.
20th of December, yeah.
Okay, so is it C-reactive protein less than 1 and an ESR of 5?
Yeah.
Man, no wonder you're running around playing sports like any other kid. How does it make you feel to be able to run around and play sports? Feels good?
Yeah.
What's your favourite sport, Marcel?
Football.
Which English Premier League team do you most admire?
Watford, because I live in Watford.
Oh, Watford. Okay. And what do you think of Harry Kane?
Not really good.
Not really good.
He's supporting Barcelona, so with his dad, so they're not into
Yeah. Gotcha.
That much.
Let's see if we can cover off any of the skeptics' kind of yeah buts. Do you ever have any pain from doing lots of exercise? Do you find that it ends up hurting your feet, or when you write a lot with the fingers that used to hurt, do they hurt after writing a lot?
No, the only thing is tennis, because I had a big break for tennis when my fingers started hurting. So now it's just like me getting used to holding the racket for long. It's not the joints that hurt, it's just like my hand.
Probably hurt most adults holding a tennis racket for a while if they haven't played for a long time too. So yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about that. What have your friends said who may have come over to hang out and play some video games or kick a soccer ball, and they've seen you doing these mega green smoothies? Like, what does other kids say?
I couldn't do this. I can't do this. That's all they say.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I love meat, this stuff. It's just the common answer.
Yes, yes, true. Same with adults. Oh, I could never do that. Don't they?
Yeah.
It's so common.
Yeah,
So
what do you
common.
eat?
Yeah.
If you say to your friends at school that you're vegan, what do they ask you?
I mean, most of them know now.
No,
but,
they know now, yeah.
but usually they're like, oh, why? Why is this your choice?
Yeah. And what do you eat then? Do you eat eggs? No. Do you drink meat? No. Do you eat cheese? No. What do you eat?
Yeah, just exactly like that.
Oh, it's so funny. It happens at every age. It never changes. Marcel, let me tell you, you got this for the rest of your life, these questions.
Where do you get your proteins
Yeah,
from?
most is where do you get your proteins from?
Yeah.
And it's like you just have to tell them black beans, spinach. Like it's
Yeah. Which is a good opportunity now to talk about what your diet looks like now. It started out really simple. How did the reintroductions go? Because I get asked this a lot from other parents who are in a situation that you have been through. When you reintroduced foods, which ones did you find had no issue at all? And which ones, if any, did you have to say, actually, I can't eat that?
Well, I can't really exactly remember, but I remember when we introduced nuts, I felt a little bit of inflammation.
Right. But you mentioned black beans, so you're able to eat beans and lentils, no problem?
Yeah.
Very quickly, actually, because after 3 weeks or something, I started slowly giving him black beans because I wanted something more substantial into the diet. So this would be the, the changes, which we decided to do. I decided to do because it's a child. So I wanted to have something else.
Yes.
Rather than just buckwheat and quinoa and salads. And then a little bit of chia seeds in his as well. But just a little bit, like half of a teaspoon or something.
I remember in school and he always gave me smoothies at lunch.
Because I work in his former primary school, so what I would do, I would prepare smoothie. No, I would take a blender. I had a blender at school actually, so I would prepare everything for the smoothie. Go to work, put it in the fridge. So lunchtime, I would prepare his smoothie and I would give it to him, and he was like, "Why? Lunchtime?" But he always would have it. So it was like 70. Like almost a liter of smoothie.
The only reason why was because I wanted to play football with everyone.
Yeah, so because it was faster than eating salads for him at lunchtime, for example. So he could just, drink his smoothie and he was ready to play football with his friends lunchtime as well. So this worked really well.
Your skin's glowing, Marcel. You look like a very, very healthy young man. How do you feel in terms of your energy? Do you outrun some of the other kids? How do you feel in terms of energy levels and competitive levels with other kids?
In terms of energy levels, I feel very energetic. And then with being competitive, I outrun most kids most of the time.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. You would never, no one actually, they wouldn't know that you have arthritis. I don't think that anyone would actually suspect that he's got some kind of condition,
Yeah.
Because it's, you can't really tell.
Yeah, it's wonderful. There's a movie coming out in a few months, I believe. I'm seeing it in beginning of August this year, but I think it's a private screening. Which is the Game Changers movie. And I think that will be a good one for Marcel to watch because a young man, about to get into his teens and go through a lot more sport and one day represent the Premier League and so on as a champion. And I think it'll be good to see these athletes who are performing at the world class level, and they're vegan, and so it'll be good, just a little bit of a motivator to say, you know what, I'm going to stick with this because my health's worth it, and I'm not going to sacrifice anything with my sports. And in fact, it could be an advantage. So that'll be a good movie to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a book like Vegan Athletes, so sometimes I take a bits and pieces from it, and I'm, Marcel, have a look at this, have a look at that. So, yeah.
Now, Marcel, out of all the things that you did, you started out with the simple foods, you did lots of green smoothies, green juices. Which ones, if you had to say, are the most important to have given you the best results?
Celery and cucumber juice.
Wow. Powerful. Yeah.
And we actually add something else to it, do we?
Yeah, we add cabbage.
Yeah, there's a cabbage in it as well.
Cabbage, that is hardcore.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was actually alfalfa sprouts, cabbage, and celery juice and cucumber. But Marcel has enough of alfalfa sprouts, so we just decided to leave that for now. But it's still cabbage. This is how we do it: cabbage, celery, and cucumber.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's great. So, how long after consuming the juice would you start to feel like that sort of release of the inflammation, or was it just that the more you drank, it just slowly went away, sort of with weeks?
Yeah, I would say the more juices and smoothies and stuff would, like, I don't know, like, I couldn't really feel the smallest difference and stuff, but I think it's like you could just feel it getting better sometimes.
Yeah. Like 2-3 days in the past, it was 2 days over, and that's it.
Now,
and you would see the symptoms, whatever, if any type of food would affect him, then the symptoms would be more subtle. Now you probably, you know what I mean, you get better and better, and you don't get this like stiffness or stiffness. I don't know, maybe a year ago he had the last time stiffness or anything like this. It's just not happening any longer.
And Marcel, tell me, is there anything that you're looking to change, or are you impatient with the diet that you're on, or do you understand that you're going to have to eat lots of plants for a very long time to stay well?
Not really impatient. I think being vegan is the better option because it feels way better. Like you can see it healed the disease. So like it's just all the evidence you need to see. This is like the like better diet than a non-vegan diet. So yeah, I'm gonna stay on it for all my life.
What wonderful words. And it gives me great, great feelings of joy to know that you have that commitment and knowledge as well. Because what you know at age 11, some people don't learn in their entire lifetime. So you have a great amount of life experience at a very young age, which has led you to have this incredible insight and this, in a way, blessing of knowledge to help you for the rest of your life. So, that's very impressive.
And we're also saving the planet, isn't it?
Yeah, just helping the planet as well. It just makes you feel good, like you're doing something to stop global warming.
Yeah, most definitely. So this morning we had to delay proceedings a little bit because you were cranking a big smoothie together. Tell me what you put in the smoothie this morning.
I don't really know.
He doesn't know.
Mom made it. I just drink it because I want to be healthy.
He doesn't know what goes into the smoothie.
Oh, he doesn't even know what goes in them. You put it all together, dear.
More or less, but not exactly.
Yeah. All I know is there's some form of like spinach or leafy greens, like and there's a fruit and there's chia seeds.
Yeah.
Wow.
And spirulina quite often.
Wow.
We started spirulina quite early as well, and if I can mention one thing, I've noticed that spirulina helped with his hemoglobin level, because when we went to Poland and I didn't have organic spirulina available over there, so I said, I'm not going to buy just, any spirulina. I'm just going to wait until we go back to England and then I have my spirulina there. So his hemoglobin would drop a couple of points. It's nothing, below the required level, but I could see these changes because his blood tests were done on a monthly basis. So I could compare what I was doing this month and I was doing that month, and what was changing. So this was quite helpful as well.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Yeah, I haven't heard that before. That's excellent. Let's cover off any other tips or advice for other people who are in a similar situation.
Just focus on your celery juices most, and salads and smoothies.
Yes, I guess we wanted to get like a quick result. So we've done it 100%. We've done exactly what was in your program. And we maybe added a few other things like spirulina, because I know for some it might be causing a problem because there is quite a lot of, I think omega-3 in it, or proteins as well. So it might.
It's such a small amount that's consumed.
Yeah. Yes.
The little bit of fat in there is negligible and quite possibly helpful. So for example, I used to take lots of spirulina. I used to do insane amounts of spirulina, but at the same time that I was taking it, I was doing a lot of different other supplements, and the combination total of all of them, I can't say what was going on because there was too many variables. But yes, yeah. I have a soft spot for spirulina, and if people take it, my first response is normally internally quite positive. I think, okay, this is good news. So yes, it's good to hear that you feel it was attributed to his improvements in his blood.
Yeah. And we've done some supplements, but we didn't go overly crazy about supplements. So we've done calcium because he was deficient in calcium.
Mm-hmm. Prior,
and we've done
yes,
and magnesium. We've done
That's good.
Yeah, so
it's some anti-inflammatory thing. Like I forgot what it's called.
I go to the kitchen. Cumin. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
no, not cumin. So we've done the magnesium, we've done minerals, of course, vitamin D3. It was like all together. We found a really good source, like a raw vegan products, gluten-free products as well. So we've done, of course, probiotics to start with.
Potatoes are ready, are they, honey? This is one of my little ones. Look at this.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Run back out now, baby. I'll be out in a minute.
It's a really pretty dress.
Yeah. That's little Ariel. She just turned 3 a few weeks ago. Yeah, dressed up as Cinderella. She's just come to tell me that my potatoes are ready.
Oh.
One thing that we've spoken about a lot here is the exercise, and I think that this is a really important message that it's natural and so helpful for kids to exercise, and we should allow as much exercise as the joints allow, essentially. If there's no complaint from the child and the joints don't get more hurt from the exercise, then I believe that it's sky's the limit. And if this means, trampolining and or bike, my personal favorite is a normal, regular push bike. It's great for the knees, great for just having fun, that feeling of euphoria, all this happy endorphin stuff. It's all helpful to healing, and just lots of physical activity. So, Marcel, you've embraced that. You've done as much physical activity as anyone, and I think that's played a big role in just allowing your body to heal. So I think that's something that you've kind of done by default, but something that we should put the microscope on.
it's something what we always like in the beginning when he was not able to walk, but he was able to cycle, isn't it? So he'd done a lot of cycling and also swimming. And then when he was able to start playing football again, he would start playing football and tennis. But in the beginning, those bad times when he was not able to do all the sports he would love to do, then we would be cycling and swimming. And even if sometimes he didn't feel like in the evening, we said, no, we have to go, we have to swim, we have to go and swim, let's go. So we were like pushing for quite a lot as well. So yes, he's done quite well with physical exercises, and this is part of your program as well. So that's why we were kind of stressing about this quite a lot.
Also in school, because it was so hot. It's just so fun to play football. So I played like hours.
Yeah, exactly. So absolutely, sports as well. And if I may say, in terms of the food as well, I started to making my own sauerkraut. I started to producing this fermented oats. After listening to Matthews, your podcast with Dr. Matthews. So we stopped using like shop bought probiotics. We started to using, of course, miso. As well, Marcel, he wasn't a big fan of miso to start with, but really now he is. He really likes miso soup now as well. But so all these natural sources, we didn't want to overload him with these supplements, which we can buy. We just started to, going away from that and just started to kind of keep it simple and based like on natural foods and right.
No, you've really done an outstanding job to transition from, I guess, a classic Western style diet with a Eastern European influence. You mentioned like the bacon, lots of that kind of high fat, high protein kind of meals, and to completely do a 180-degree turn and make a vegan family and get rid of the symptoms of your child who was otherwise going to be on a course of very long-term drugs and challenging health condition. It's been incredible. So what a family, huh? You guys deserve Family of the Year.
I think, because of Marcel, it was really easy because he wasn't complaining, he just would eat whatever he knew that he needs to eat in order to get better. So it was really, he made it very easy for us as well.
Yeah, what a boy. So Marcel, I want to tell you something. So because you've been through this and you've overcome this very, very serious challenge by doing something that, as most of your friends say, they could never do, I want you to know that all the other challenges that come in life, you can handle them.
Yeah.
All right?
Hardest one.
You've already done the hardest one. So if you get to a situation where you're going to go to university and you're worried that you won't be able to do a certain degree, or if you feel a challenge in a future scenario and you don't think you can do it, I want you to think back to what you've just done in the last 12 months. You can do anything. All right?
Yeah, this is what I've been telling him as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do anything.
Oh. I think he really needs to go now.
All right.
I think it was quite emotional.
Yeah. It is emotional, but I wanted to share that with him, even if it's a little emotional, because I want him to know that. I want him to know that because it doesn't get any harder than that. It just doesn't. You're in agonizing pain. You're struggling to walk from the car to the school. He can't hold his pen at school. He has to get someone else to write his exam results for him. I mean, come on. And now he's running around. He looks amazing. He doesn't have any of the symptoms. All his blood markers are fantastic. He's dodged not just a bullet, he's dodged a nuclear missile right here.
I didn't know in the beginning. I had it at the back of my mind. What if this is not going to work? But because we've done this 1-day cleanse, I was very hopeful, and I was seeing, the results came really quickly. So And I really want them to come quickly because it was, we were fighting kind of against the time with the doctors because they were pushing, heavy drugs on him as well. So this was, it's like, so it was really intense back then.
Yeah.
It was.
That's right. And I'm glad you mentioned the sort of the time pressure. And we see this frequently. The period between when the results in the blood show that there is a situation, an autoimmune situation, you have a very short window before the medications are essentially pushed upon you. And during that time, there is a great deal of soul searching and researching and sleepless nights. And to see results so quickly is a godsend, because that means that you can confidently have a discussion with the doctor about a slight delay in treatment because things seem to be improving. And even if they don't believe that they'll continue to improve without drugs, you can at least have the conversation and maybe manage to postpone it indefinitely. So you're right. That time pressure, that month or so, that's a heavy month.
It was even 3 months, to be honest with you, fast, because I was like postponing. I said, listen, I'm doing something else. I wasn't going into the details, but I said, I'm doing something else. We became vegans and this and that. And I want to wait another month. And it was like, every time we would go there and they would try to persuade you. They would try to convince you. Like they basically, I don't know why maybe, but if it's a child with rheumatoid arthritis, they want to attack it really aggressively. I don't know if it's everywhere in the world like this or just England, but
it's everywhere.
It's very aggressive, the first reaction. So it would be methotrexate, prednisone, it would be steroids, injections, everything at once. They just want to dump everything, at the same time, which is, I don't think it's be all necessary, depending on the circumstances, depending on the situation. But it proved that it was definitely not necessary in Marcel's case. And if I would believe the doctors, what they're saying, what they're advising, well, we would be in a completely different position now.
That's right. That's right.
You would still have inflammation, probably.
I don't even want to think what would have happened.
I know. Let's not go down that path mentally. Let's keep on the...
take a deep breath and just... it's not easy because they try to scare you a lot.
Yeah.
So they try to scare you with all this pessimistic, scenarios for the future, if you're not going to take this drug. So.
So just to close out, I'm going to throw to Marcel with a little bit of a curly question. If there were 3 words to describe what you need to do to go through this program and to improve your health, what would be 3 words you would say that you would need?
Juicing, smoothies, and salads.
I love it. I love it. That is awesome. All right. Well, you two have been a treat to talk to. It's just always makes me glow from tip of my head to the bottom of my feet to listen to the stories like you've shared. And again, I just want to reiterate, the degree of difficulty was a 10 out of 10, and you've shown that you can handle the 10 out of 10 as a family. So congratulations on all that you've achieved. Complacency now is your only enemy. And so keep up all the great work that you're doing. Become the green smoothie champion. And thank you so much for sharing this. And I will chat with you, Anna, in our support group, and I look forward to continuing to offer help if you need it, because you're doing so well.
Thank you so much, Clint. It's actually all thanks to you. What can I say? Just huge thank you. I don't know what would happen, with us if we wouldn't find on time your program, and I don't know. So this was I don't believe in God, but I think there's someone there looking after us, someone up there at the end of the day.
Yes.
You research.
That's right. You can take a lot of credit, Anna, because the information's there, and I think a lot of people don't find it because they're just not looking. So it's not hard to find our program these days. There's so many videos like this one that you've helped me create just now. So if people use the right search term, it doesn't take long, if not like instant, to be able to find examples and a path forward that I think is really helpful. So thank you so much, Marcel. I know it's your weekend. It's your Saturday. I'm sure you got lots on today. Good luck with your soccer or football, as you call it. And I'll be in touch with your mum and look forward to more wonderful positive updates. So well done, Marcel. Thanks, mate.